The official pull to open summary of Meglos begins in 2 minutes. Begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so there's this star system called the Prion system. There's these two planets, Tagella and Zolphathura. Tagella is dependent on this power source, this dodecahedron. It's like basically a power artifact, but it's malfunctioning. So they send for the doctor, who's their friend, and the doctor sort of arrives in the system. But who on Zolphathura is there? It's only one person. It's called Meglos, and he's sort of a cactus, and he traps the doctor in this sort of time loop while also summons these mercenaries to bring him an Earthling so he can basically inhabit the Earthling and duplicate the doctor. He goes to Tagella with these mercenaries and pretends to be the doctor and sort of plays the religious people against the scientific people, who are sort of these two factions, and ends up stealing the dodecahedron by shrinking it and essentially putting it in his pocket. The Doctor and Romana and K9 get out of the time loop by basically doing the events of the time loop before they loop back, and that somehow confuses the time loop, so they get to Tagella, and then they get there just as Meglos is leaving, and the doctor gets blamed for stealing the dodecahedron, even though he never got there. Romana gets captured almost by these. Well, she gets captured by the mercenary guys, and but sort of outsmarts them and gets away. But then Meglos leaves with the dodecahedron, goes back to Zolphathura, puts it in the middle of these screens in the middle of the desert, which is actually a base for a super weapon. And the super weapon, he's about to destroy Tagella, but the doctor comes back, impersonates Meglos. They both get thrown in prison, and then because the mercenary guys have tried to take over, and then but the doctor has had time to reconfigure it so that it's going to destroy back on itself, and so they bust out and they run back to the TARDIS, and then everything starts to go wrong with the base, and those guys can't get out in time. Meglos tries to run and stomp it, goes back into his cactus form, but they can't do anything about it, and the whole place blows up. The doctor takes the Earthling, who has been freed from Meglos, back home, and the Tagellans now have to live on the surface of their planet because the dodecahedron's gone, and it was powering their whole underground society.
Time! Oh my god!
Glory to Pete Pachal for the best summary of Meglos I've ever heard.